A human engineer named Evan Carter stands before a massive alien throne. The Sci-fi queen, a towering figure with glowing silver eyes, leans forward and says, "Human, are you ready to become my daughter's husband?" Evan hears guards loading their weapons behind him. He has no idea why he is here, or who her daughter even is. Evan is a repair engineer stationed on a peaceful alien hub station. He specializes in fixing damaged starships. One day, he is suddenly called to repair a damaged royal cruiser from the Sci-fi Empire, a species known to be dangerous and proud. He expects a normal job, but soldiers surround him the moment he finishes. Welcome to my channel Starlight Sci-Fi Stories. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Evan Carter had repaired many alien ships in his life, but he had never seen anything like the one that arrived at Dock 47 that morning. It was a royal cruiser from the Sci-fi Empire. Sleek, silver, glowing with strange symbols, guarded by tall warriors with crystal spears. Everyone on the station whispered and stared. Evan only wiped his hands on a towel and stepped forward with his usual calm. He was a human engineer, nothing more. He fixed broken engines, damaged plates, and faulty reactors. He did not deal with royalty. He did not deal with empires. But today, that rule was about to break. He didn't know this job would change his life forever. The chief guard pointed at him. "Ooh, human engineer. Come." Evan raised an eyebrow. "Me. There are others who—" "No," the guard's voice was sharp. "Queen's order. You fix this ship." Evan swallowed. When a normal commander gave orders, you could argue. When a queen issued orders, you obeyed. So he climbed aboard and began working. Hours passed. Something bothered him about the engine core. A strange panel, badly fitted, hummed with unstable energy. It didn't belong there. It was dangerous. Normally he would report it, but the ship needed immediate repair. One wrong spark could blow the whole cruiser to pieces. He removed the panel, reattached critical wires, and stabilized the power cell. The humming stopped. The ship breathed again. Evan exhaled deeply. "There. You're safe now." But he didn't know how true those words were. When he stepped off the cruiser, guards surrounded him, this time in full armor, weapons raised. "What did I do?" Evan muttered. The chief guard stepped forward. "The Queen summons you. Now." Before he could protest, they dragged him toward a black shuttle. No explanation. No warning. The doors shut behind him with a metallic hiss. The shuttle took off, leaving the station behind like a forgotten dream. Evan pressed his forehead to the cold window. What is happening? The capital of the Empire. Hours later, the shuttle pierced through the atmosphere of Zyrith Prime, the capital of the most feared empire in the sector. Evan had seen pictures on the network, but reality was far greater. Towers of white crystal reached into the clouds. Giant floating rings rotated around the palace. Rivers of glowing blue energy flowed across the sky like lightning tamed into beauty. It was stunning and terrifying. When the shuttle landed, 24 elite guards marched out to meet him. Their armor shone like mirror steel. Their spears crackled with power. Evan stepped out slowly. "Can someone tell me why I'm here?" No one answered. They escorted him through giant doors into the throne hall. The air itself felt thick with power. Tall pillars held glowing symbols. Alien music echoed through the chamber. Then Evan saw her. The queen of the Sci-fi. She was tall, elegant, and frightening. Her silver eyes saw everything. Every breath, every movement, every thought. Her crown floated above her head like a ring of living light. Evan felt very small. She raised a hand. The guards stopped instantly. The queen looked at him for a long moment. "Human, step forward." Evan took a shaky step. "Your Majesty, I don't understand Silence, she said gently. But her voice carried the weight of storms. She stood and walked down the steps of the throne. Her presence was overwhelming. "I have questions for you." Evan swallowed hard. "Yes, Your Majesty." She circled him slowly, studying him like he was a puzzle. "Do you value courage, human?" "Yes," Evan answered. "I try to." Would you protect someone even if it meant your life? Evan hesitated, but only for a moment. If someone needed me, yes. The Queen stopped in front of him. Her silver eyes glowed brighter. You speak truth. Good. Evan felt sweat on his neck. Why are you asking me this? The Queen lifted her chin. Because your destiny has touched mine. And my daughter's. Evan blinked. Daughter? I don't even know her. You will, the Queen said softly. Soon. The princess in danger, the Queen returned to her throne and motioned for Evan to stand before her. You repaired my daughter's royal cruiser. Evan nodded slowly. Yes. It needed work and You saved her life. The Queen said. Evan froze. I what? There was a hidden explosive. A traitor placed it there. Her eyes darkened with anger. When you removed that strange panel, you stopped its detonation. Without knowing, you protected my child. Evan felt all blood drain from his face. What? I had no idea. I know, she interrupted. You acted with instinct, will, and heart. Those are rare qualities. He tried to breathe normally. Is your daughter safe now? For the moment, the Queen said. But the faction that wants her dead is still moving. They will attack again. Before the coronation moon rises in 2 days, they will try to end her life. Evan felt a chill run down his spine. And why do you need me? He asked. The Queen leaned forward. Because destiny has chosen you. That doesn't make sense, Evan whispered. It will. The Queen pressed a symbol on her throne. A hologram flickered to life showing a young woman. Delicate, silver-haired, gentle-eyed. She looked nothing like the fierce Zirathai warriors. This is Princess Lyra, the Queen said quietly. She is called weak by the nobles. Too gentle. Too soft. Too kind. The Queen's voice trembled with rare emotion. They want to remove her from the royal line. Evan stared at the image. The princess looked fragile, almost human. Why show me this? The Queen narrowed her eyes. Because I believe you can protect her. Evan shook his head quickly. I'm just an engineer, not a soldier. And yet you saved her without knowing her. You risked yourself because it was right. The Queen stepped closer and whispered. That is why I brought you here. Evan felt trapped. He felt watched. He felt the future closing around him. What exactly do you want from me? He asked quietly. The Queen straightened. I want you to stand at her side. Evan blinked. As what? A bodyguard. The Queen's next words shattered the hall. As her future husband. Evan's mouth fell open. Husband. I barely know anything. The Queen raised a hand. Do not fear. You have time to know her. But the bond must be made soon. It will protect her. It will give her strength. And it will unite our peoples. Evan felt dizzy. This is crazy. But the Queen was not finished. And there is one more thing. She stepped back, her voice lowering to a deadly whisper. The traitor faction knows you saved her. They know the ship survived because of you. Now they want to kill you too. Evan's heart stopped. What? You are tied to our fate now, the Queen said. You cannot escape it. Destiny Calls. 2 guards stepped forward, lifting their spears. You will meet Princess Lyra now, the Queen said. Then you will decide your path. Evan wanted to run. He wanted to scream. But something else pushed inside him, something strange. A sense of responsibility. He didn't know this princess. He didn't know her people. But he knew what it felt like to be unwanted. To be judged as weak. To be dismissed. Maybe she needed someone who understood that. He took a deep breath. Fine, he said. I'll meet her. The Queen nodded with satisfaction. Good. The guards escorted Evan through the palace, down shining halls and past enormous armored statues. His heart pounded harder with each step. Finally, they reached a tall golden door. Princess Lyra waits inside, a guard said. Evan raised his hand to knock, but before he could touch the door, the alarms erupted. Red lights flashed. The halls vibrated with the sound of danger. Guards shouted commands. Somewhere far away, explosions shook the palace. Evan spun around. "What's happening?" The guard shouted. "Enemy infiltration. Protect the princess at all." But he never finished. A dark shape dropped from the ceiling like a shadow falling from the sky. A masked assassin, black-armored, armed with curved blades glowing with poison. Evan froze as the assassin landed silently behind him. A cold whisper filled the hall. "The weak princess must not live. And neither must the human." The assassin raised his blade, and Evan realized he was the only one standing in the way. The assassin's blade flashed downward with deadly speed. Evan didn't think. He moved on instinct, throwing himself sideways as the blade struck the floor where his neck had been. Sparks burst from the impact. The assassin spun with unnatural grace, aiming the next strike at Evan's chest. The palace guards rushed in shouting, "Protect the human!" But the assassin moved faster than their eyes could follow. He kicked one guard across the hall, slashed another's armor clean open, and leaped toward Evan again. Evan grabbed the only thing near him, a fallen guard's round energy shield. He barely lifted it before the assassin's blade slammed against it, sending him sliding backward across the polished floor. His arms shook. His heart pounded. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't trained for this. But he wasn't dead yet. The assassin hissed through his mask. "You should have stayed on your station, human." Evan raised the shield again as the assassin rushed forward. Before the killer could strike, a soft voice echoed behind them. "Stop!" Everything froze for a heartbeat. Evan turned. A young woman stood at the far end of the hall. She was the same woman from the hologram, Princess Lyra. Silver hair glowed in the red alarm lights. Her gentle purple eyes were full of worry, not fear. She wore no armor, no crown, no weapons. She looked far too fragile for a world like this. The assassin hissed again. "You should not be here, princess." Lyra stepped forward. Her hands trembled, but she did not stop. "Why do you attack him? He is only an engineer." "He is tied to your fate," the assassin said. "And your fate must end." He lunged toward her. Evan didn't think. He charged, slamming the energy shield into the assassin's side. The blow was weak, clumsy, but enough to knock the killer off balance. Lyra gasped. "Human, look out!" The assassin recovered instantly and swung his blade at Evan's arm. The shield caught the strike, but the force sent him stumbling again. Guards swarmed the hall. The assassin knew he was outnumbered. With a final glare at Evan, he leaped high, vanished into the shadows above, and disappeared into the palace ducts. Silence fell. Evan leaned against the wall, panting, adrenaline shaking his body. Princess Lyra walked toward him slowly. "Are you hurt?" Evan breathed hard. "Just scared out of my mind." She gave a small, soft smile. "Thank you for protecting me." Evan blinked. "I didn't do much." "You did enough," she said quietly. "Many wouldn't." The queen arrived moments later with royal guards. Her expression darkened when she saw the damage. "Where is the attacker?" she demanded. "Gone, your majesty," a guard said. The queen turned her fierce eyes toward Lyra, and then toward Evan. "You see," she said coldly. "The danger is real. The traitors knew exactly where you would be." Evan exhaled slowly. "I understand now." Lyra looked confused, her eyes darting between them. "Mother, what is happening?" The queen placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Too much to explain here. Both of you. Private truth." The queen led Evan and Lyra into a quiet chamber filled with floating lanterns and soft blue light. Lyra sat beside Evan, still shaken. Evan noticed her hands trembled slightly. She hid it by folding them in her lap. The queen took her throne-like seat. "We have no more time to waste," she said. "The coronation moon rises tomorrow. The attack confirmed what I feared. The traitor faction will strike again." Lyra whispered. "But why target me?" "Because you are kind," the queen answered with sadness. "Because you believe in peace, not conquest. Because you would guide our empire into a new age." They fear that. Lyra lowered her gaze. Then the queen looked at Evan. And that is why he must stand with you. Lyra's eyes widened. Mother, what do you mean? Evan rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah, I'd like to know too. The queen took a long breath. Her voice softened. Daughter, I have seen the future. Have read the signs. The old prophecies speak of a moment when our royal bloodline will break unless a heart of another world stands beside it. Lyra blinked. A human. Yes, the queen said firmly. A human with courage. A human who protects without being asked. A human who saw you as worthy even when you thought yourself weak. Lyra looked at Evan surprised. He saved my ship. He saved you, the queen corrected. Evan raised his hands. Look, I didn't even know she was. Exactly, the queen said. You acted without reward. Without expectation. That is why you were chosen. Evan felt overwhelmed. Chosen for what? To fight assassins. To join a prophecy. The queen's next words struck like thunder. To become her future husband. Lyra gasped softly, covering her mouth. Mother! Evan nearly choked. Wait, what? Lyra's face turned pink. I have never even spoken to him. That is what today is for, the queen said. You must know each other before the binding ceremony tomorrow night. Evan threw his hands up. Binding ceremony. I'm just an engineer. You are more than that, the queen said simply. Lyra's voice trembled. Mother, I don't want a political husband. The queen knelt in front of her daughter, holding her hands gently. You will not have one, she whispered. You will have someone who sees your heart. Lyra looked shyly at Evan, who stared at the floor awkwardly. Both of you will spend the rest of the day together, the queen declared. If you refuse the union by nightfall, I will not force you. But if you accept, your bond will protect the kingdom. Evan swallowed. Lyra looked terrified but hopeful. The queen turned to her guards. Leave them. They must be alone. Time with the princess. Once the guards left, the palace felt huge and quiet. Lyra walked beside Evan through a garden filled with glowing trees. She kept glancing at him, then quickly looking away. Finally she spoke. You don't have to marry me. Evan chuckled nervously. Trust me, I'm aware. But I also know, she said softly, that my people are in danger. And I am in danger too. And we do not have many who would stand by us. Evan listened carefully. She sounded lonely. Far lonelier than a princess should ever sound. He smiled a little. You're nothing like the others here. She nodded. I am not like them. I was born weak by their standards. I don't fight. I don't shout. I don't hunger for power. I enjoy books, history, music. I like quiet things. That's not weakness, Evan said gently. Lyra looked at him for a long moment. Really looked. Mother says you are kind. Evan shrugged. I try to be. Do you want to be here? She whispered. Evan took a deep breath. I don't know yet. But I want to understand you. A soft blush warmed her cheeks. Thank you. They spent hours walking, talking about simple things. Earth food, alien traditions, starship engines, her childhood. Lyra laughed quietly at his jokes. Evan relaxed around her faster than he expected. She wasn't weak. Just gentle. Just peaceful. And that made her rare. The husband trial. That evening, the queen summoned them back to the grand hall. Before any union, she said, the human must complete the ancient husband trial. Evan paled. Trial. Nobody mentioned a trial. It tests courage, loyalty, and heart, the queen said. Pass, and you earn the right to stand beside my daughter. Lyra grabbed Evan's hand. Instinctively, without thinking. Her touch was soft but trembling. Mother, he shouldn't have to. It is tradition, the queen said. But do not fear. The trial is symbolic. Only a small. She never finished. A thunderous explosion shook the palace. Walls cracked. Guards screamed. Black-armored soldiers stormed the hall like a flood of shadows. The traitor faction had begun their final attack. The queen shouted, "Protect the princess!" Beasts with armor plates burst through windows. Assassins leaped from balconies. Energy blasts filled the air. Evan shielded Lyra as best as he could. "This is insane." Lyra trembled behind him. They want to kill me. They always have." A giant armored beast charged toward them. Evan grabbed a fallen guard's plasma spear. He wasn't trained. He wasn't strong. But he stood his ground. The beast roared, raising its claws. Evan drove the spear forward. The weapon pulsed with blue light. The beast fell back stunned. Evan shouted, "I'm not letting them take you." Lyra stared at him with wide eyes. More assassins approached. Evan stood in front of her, panting, battered, half terrified, but refusing to move. "Stay behind me, Lyra." The assassins rushed forward. Evan raised the spear. But suddenly light exploded behind him. Lyra's hidden power. Lyra cried out, not in fear but in something deeper. A pulse of silver light burst from her chest, expanding like a shockwave. The assassins froze mid-step, their blades melting from the energy. Evan shielded his eyes. "What, Lyra? Are you okay?" Her voice was soft, trembling. "I don't know. I just felt something. When you stood in front of me, something woke up." The queen stepped forward, awed. "The royal power. You finally awakened it." Lyra looked down at her glowing hands, shocked. I didn't know I could do this." "You couldn't," the queen said. "Not alone. Only with a bonded heart beside you." Evan blinked. "Bonded heart." The queen smiled gently. "You passed the husband trial, human. Not by strength, but by courage." New fate. The hall slowly calmed as guards captured the last attackers. Lyra walked toward Evan. Her eyes were soft, shining, full of gratitude and hope. "You protected me," she whispered. "Even when you could have run." He smiled softly. "I wasn't going anywhere." The queen raised her voice so all could hear. "Evan Carter of Earth. You have shown the courage of a warrior and the heart of a king. I offer you the place at my daughter's side, as her chosen partner." Lyra stepped closer, cheeks pink, hands shaking slightly. "Evan, if you want to stay, if you want to be with me, I would be honored." The hall fell silent. Evan looked into her eyes. Gentle, kind, brave in her own way. He took her hand. "If she wants me," he said softly, "then yes." The court gasped. Lyra smiled, a real bright smile. The queen lifted her crown. "Then let the new union begin." Evan and Lyra stood together as the palace lights rose. The human engineer, and the alien princess who thought she was weak. A new bond, a new destiny, a new future for two worlds. End.